I wanted to make some content on something else, less success driven and more based in reality. All throughout university I was smoking cannabis at an incredible rate. I was smoking about 7 grams of weed a day, probably for the last 4 years. I justified that to myself by saying it helped with creativity, that I was still being productive, that I was still operating business ventures, and therefore it wasn't a problem. But it was only when I came away from smoking that substance so regularly that I identified that it had certainly been a problem, and I just hadn't been in the right headspace to admit so. So what this video is really examining that relationship that I had with cannabis, explaining how I moved away from the substance, and then also how I view it now and how I'm going to view it in the future. Because I've had lots of lads reach out to me after I did the TikTok video about this, and they asked for tips on quitting and similar things. So I thought that I'd cover it in a longer format video so that you would be able to benefit from that if you so choose. So firstly, I'll start with my relationship with it. I started smoking cannabis regularly when I was about 16 years old. In Hereford, everyone smoked weed. Of course you did. You're a teenager, you're experimenting, you're having fun. And lots of my friendships, they were forged on that basis. They were formed on the relationship of you link up, smoke a reefer, and some of my closest friends still today are friends who I met through those circumstances. Now, I was never one of those people that got wrapped up in that too much. I was able to function, I was able to perform well in college, I was able to do well in my A-levels, I got 5 A's despite smoking cannabis daily. And so I was lucky in that respect, because I wasn't led down that path of failure that so often comes with those people that get very involved with weed. I watched lots of my friends go down that path, and I watched lots of my friends, their futures pretty much evaporate before our eyes as they just smoked so much weed that their drive and determination vanished. But obviously, of course, I was running Baseface at this time, I was doing a lot of things, and so the cannabis sort of complemented that for me. But when I went to university and I struggled to be happy at uni, I found solace in cannabis, 100%. I would be high from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, and that was largely because I was just trying to pass the time at university. I didn't want to be there, I didn't want to engage, and I was very down and depressed at that time. The cannabis helped me because it just took away the cares. I didn't care. Now, I say that cannabis didn't make me unmotivated and it didn't make me lazy, but it certainly didn't give me the drive and the passion and the energy that I have these days. I think the most dangerous thing about cannabis is it lulls you into this false sense of security. It lulls you into believing that it is helping you, because it is medicinal. It is a brilliant thing, but it's so easy to become something that's abused because of that. It's a gentle high, it's something that you can function with all the time, and it's not overpowering, and let's be honest, compare it to other drugs that people get hooked on, it's a whole different kettle of fish. But we must understand that it is a drug. Having that in your brain constantly, always being under the influence of it, is never going to be a positive thing. It wasn't until I broke up with my ex-partner, I got a full-time job, that the structure of my life changed so much that smoking cannabis was almost an alien concept. Now, previously I had the time to just sit there and smoke, and I was surrounded by people that would smoke, and as I said, lots of friendships were formed like that. But as soon as I started working a 8 till 6 job, that structure changed and it was no longer compatible. I mean, I would still have a spliff before I went on a run in the morning, and I'd still have one when I got home. But gradually I just came away from it completely. And so when people ask me, how did you quit? Well, I didn't choose to quit, actually. It sort of just happened one day. The structure of my life changed so much that it just made sense not to consume it anymore. Now, there have been times in my life prior when I had actively decided to quit cannabis, and I'm sure if you're watching this with the same sort of intention, that you too have had that, where you just go, no, I'm never going to smoke weed again, and you do 1 or 2 days and you feel like shit and then you go back to it. That's because if you just say to yourself, I'm never going to do it again, ever again, you're obviously going to fall back to smoking it, because that's habitual, that's a ritual in your life that you go back to over and over and over again. So if you're looking at this as I want to quit cannabis, it's not a case of setting yourself that goal as a instant objective. It's more that you have to take your life and you have to restructure it so that cannabis does not fit in there. Now, I look at myself now and compare it to how I was when I was smoking a vast amount of cannabis, and oh my lord, if I thought I was driven and determined and had vigour then and was gregarious then, my god, right now, it's like my brain's on fire. I can't stop doing things. I have so much energy, I have so much vigour, I have so much get out and go-ness about me right now that the business, my operations are running more efficiently than ever. I'm doing more than ever. I'm getting out there and going to new places, and I feel clean. My thoughts feel clean and actually my own. Now, this was something that my dad picked up on. My moods when I was smoking cannabis, I thought it leveled me out, but that was not true. It put me into this haze, and if I wasn't always in that haze, then I would have violent mood swings. I would be unpredictable. You wouldn't be able to base what my reaction to something would be. And looking back on that, I wonder how I managed to function for so long like that. I do not understand how I let myself fall down that trap. But it is so alluring and it is so enticing that so many people have done it, and I'm just glad I worked out early enough that that wasn't sustainable and that wasn't going to be my path, and that I had to address that. And the same goes with you. If you want to get away from smoking cannabis too much, you just need to restructure what you're doing so that it won't fit there. That's how you get out of it. Now, what I would like is to have a relationship with cannabis where it's a take it or leave it sort of thing. I'd like to have a toke on a reefer. I'd like to enjoy it occasionally because it's great, it's wonderful. But it certainly isn't something that I want to be doing every day, every week, every month even. It held me back. I will admit that now. I used to credit it to providing me with creativity, but no, it held me back. It held me back in university, and it held me back in business terms, and I believe that if I had not been addicted to cannabis, I would have been more successful. And something that concerns me is when I did the TikTok about this, people were saying you can't be addicted to cannabis, but I'll tell you, you definitely can be. When I was in Santorini with my ex last summer, both of us regular weed smokers, first couple of days we couldn't eat, we couldn't sleep, and that was directly because of cannabis withdrawal. Your body learns to need it to eat, and your sleep pattern is disrupted so much because if you can't smoke, you don't fall asleep, or you can't stay asleep. That is certainly addictive. Even if it might not have physical withdrawals, the mental effects of cannabis are certainly addictive. It also becomes a coping strategy. You're happy, you smoke. You're sad, you smoke. And that's unhealthy. That's unhealthy too. To be honest with you, yes, I'm chain smoking cigarettes at the moment. But to be honest, I'd rather have a couple of years of smoking cigarettes and then quit them, but still have a level, clear head, than a lifetime of smoking reefers and always be fucked, always be unstable, always be high. You might be watching this at this point and go, no, I'm not like that. I don't have a problem with it. I enjoy smoking it every day. And maybe you do. But just try and do some time without it and see and assess yourself and assess your life if you feel better or if you don't. But I can tell you one thing. Since stopping regular cannabis consumption, I have never felt better. I have never felt more determined, more driven, and more able to succeed. Thank you for watching. God bless you. And take care. Make sure to subscribe as well. It means a lot. Take care.